Hi, I'm Drew Seeley, and you are listening to Main Pod Girl.
Hey, welcome to Main Pod Girl, a podcast made by Popheads for Popheads. Every episode will be diving into all kinds of pop culture topics with some of our favorite artists and music commentators. I'm your host, AJ Marks. I can't believe who we have here as today's guest. Perhaps most notable for his work on Disney Channel, he wrote Get Your Head in the Game and provided the singing voice for Troy in the first High School Musical film, starred as Joey Parker alongside Selena Gomez in Another Cinderella Story, and graced the soundtracks for Shake It Up, The Cheetah Girls 2, and Jump In. He's also starred on Broadway as Prince Eric in The Little Mermaid and Bob Gaudio in Jersey Boys, and just released his new album, What's My Name? It's the Emmy-nominated singer, songwriter, and actor, Drew Seeley. Welcome to the show, Drew.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, AJ. Appreciate you.
So to kick off this podcast, Drew, why don't you hit us with kind of the backstory behind this new album?
Well, I've never stopped writing and recording music, but I've sort of I've let it take a backseat in the last decade. I've got an almost 7-year-old, so family first, of course,
Yeah.
but I wanted to get back out in the world and be creative and actually release some of the music that I've been sitting on for a long time. Back in the High School Musical days, I was trying to get an actual label deal, so I was recording a lot of demos and a lot of random stuff that just sat on hard drives and never saw the light of day. So, now it's so much easier to distribute this music than it was 15 years ago when I recorded it. So
Yeah.
I had an idea, thinking, wouldn't it be fun to take some of that old music, add some new music to it, and sort of put out a throwback album that's sort of like a love letter to the, Joey Parker character that I played in Another Cinderella Story, because that is my musical DNA, like my vibe. I don't know
hmm
if any of your listeners know this, but I wrote or co-wrote all of the music from that film as well. So that was my wheelhouse, and I had a lot more of it. And I thought, let me not just like take this music to the grave. Let's put it out. Even if nobody listens to it, I will feel good that I I didn't waste it because I'm proud of it. New album, What's My Name in a nutshell.
I like the title because to me it feels kind of like you're establishing like who Drew Seeley is. Was that your intention with naming this album, or did it have something to do with all the different characters you've played as an actor? And this could have been, like you said, sung by Joey Parker, or this could have been like Jordan Cahill, or
Sure.
you know what I mean? Like, is that kind of your intention with naming the album?
Sure. I can see how it might be a little it might be a little confusing for some people. It's not me trying to be Joey Parker. It's a Drew Seeley album.
Yeah.
It's just that's sort of the vibe, and it's just sort of like I thought it would be a fun way in for people, with the title and some of the features that I'm getting on it. Like I have Adam Hicks from Lemonade Mouth and a bunch of other Disney stuff. He sings on it or raps on a track called Trophy with me on it. I thought it'd be fun to throw some Easter eggs in for the fans of that era. So I got the Evil Stepsisters to do the intro on the album.
hmm
But yeah, I mean it's just a collection of songs that I like that I thought flowed well with each other and feel authentic to what I like to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did definitely pick up on the Easter eggs there with the Adam Hicks feature. If I'm not mistaken, you first worked together, I think, on Shake It Up, was it?
Yeah, yeah, like probably 10 to 15 years ago, a song called Dance
Crazy.
for Life.
Yeah.
I just hit him up on Instagram and I'm like, hey man, what are you doing these days? I see you're still releasing music. I got this song that needs a bridge. Any interest? And he's like, yeah, dude, let's do it. So just, if you never ask, you never know. So he
It's
was down, and
true.
I hope we get some more stuff.
Oh, I love that. That's so funny because I was wondering if you guys like had stayed in touch, or if it was more of just like this was just kind of like a reunion of sorts, the song itself being like that bridge.
Believe it or not, we had that song, but we recorded in separate studios on separate days. So I've actually never met him. So we have a shared history, but we never met actually until yesterday. I'm in Anaheim right now at this thing called NostalgiaCon, and he's sitting next to me. He's in the booth next to me. So even when we recorded the song for the album, we'd still never met. So we met yesterday, and it's a cool dude. And he's got a lot of good music coming out too. So I would recommend checking out his stuff.
That's so interesting, and I do want to touch on this nostalgia just as like a concept a little bit too, because like maybe it's also like for some of the newer songs, maybe it's your voice, maybe it's your influences, but I feel like when I listen to this album being transported back into 2006, and coincidentally, Nostalgic is the title of the first song.
My evil plan.
Yes. Was placing that at the first full song on the album like a nod to what people could expect?
Exactly. It's just sort of, I thought it was a good opener song because it sort of sets the tone and the vibe. There's a "What's my name" in the lyrics of the verse. I just another little Easter egg. But that's actually the newest song on the whole album. I only wrote that with some incredible songwriters, Nick, Ben, and Charlie, about 4 months ago. So that was the last thing to add to the equation. But yeah, it felt like a good vibe. It was somewhere between like John Mayer and Robin Thicke, sort of guitar soul. I want to explore that area more.
I also feel like this record has like a mix of Usher, JC Chazé, the Timberlake Timbaland era. And
Yes.
as far as like JC and Justin, you do share a lot of like odd similarities there. Like you are around the same age. You spend time growing up in Florida. You were in a boy band when you were growing up, heavily inspired by late '90s R&B. Do you think that upbringing had an impact on the sounds that you chose for this album?
All day. Yeah, I can't outrun that time period and that vibe. Call me stuck in the past if you want, but I love the music from that era. Those were some of my heroes. Yeah, I lived in Orlando, so if you were a singing guy in Orlando at that time when NSYNC and Backstreet came out, that's what you did. So I had a group and we released a few albums independently, and it was a great time. But then I moved to California, and life went on. But it was a good training ground for singing pop R&B and understanding harmonies. And they say write what you know, right? So sing what you know, sing what feels good in your heart and like what you grew up with.
Like my mission as an artist whenever I make a song is like if you want something out into the world, make it. Like be the one to put it out in there.
Hmm.
You got to be the one to put it out. And I feel like in the 2020s like nostalgia has become one of the largest industries. Like it really dictates a lot of what gets greenlit these days. I know a lot of it is tied to economic risks, but I also think there's
Yeah.
something about my generation because I was the High School Musical generation, right? Like I'm 28 right now. I was 8 years old when that movie came out. I think there's something about my generation that is impacting the market well into our 30s that's like fairly unprecedented. Like typically the zeitgeist is controlled by teens and people in their early 20s. So you've been kind of in this. Would you say that's a fair assessment in your experience?
That's interesting, and that's true. Like the culture is sort of dictated by, yeah, teens and 20s and like the younger generation of what's cool. But your your age of people now have money and resources and still want to hear things or there was something about that time that felt, there's problems in every moment, and it's easy to look back with rosy glasses, but everything today feels like it's moving a lot faster than it was,
Mm.
back then. So I think there's a comfort in the music and stuff of 20 years ago. And I don't know. I mean, it's been 20 years since High School Musical and almost 20 years since Another Cinderella Story. And, as an artist, I went through my phase of like, oh, I'm not gonna sing that stuff anymore. I can do more. I'm a real artist, maybe thinking not embarrassed that I did it, but just, not wanting to get stuck in that. But
Mm.
I've sort of come full circle and realized that like that was a really important chapter. And the new things are important, but the place where it all started is just as important. And I love singing the songs from High School Musical now and Cinderella's Story. And they don't get old. They feel familiar. I don't have to think about them. I just show up as myself, and it comes out, and people always seem to really enjoy them. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep riding until the wheels fall off.
I mean, a lot of Disney stars from that time have built entire careers off of nostalgia, whether that's through podcasts or tours or cameos or TikTok. Do you try to lean into that as much as you can now, or is it like something you want to balance with new and original projects like this album?
Yeah, I don't want to just live in the past.
Yeah.
So yes, I have. an album called What's My Name. I'm at NostalgiaCon as we speak, but
Yeah.
a lot of the music on this album is new. I actually have more music coming out before the end of the year. So this was part one. So I'm not resting on my laurels, but it seems to be a way back in and sort
Mm.
of to just reintroduce myself or remind people that maybe knew me at one time, like, oh yeah, he's still alive. I got a new
Well,
stuff.
way back in, emphasis on the way back. Speaking of that, actually, what's the oldest song on this album? Like, how far does that date back? Because you
The
said some of them
oldest
were older
song.
songs.
Probably Trophy. It was written by this amazing songwriter, Dez, and produced and written also with Ray Cham, who was my
Mm.
mentor, and I was signed to a production deal with him. He was the one that got me involved in High School Musical. He's the whole reason we're talking today. He was the producer of Get Your Head in the Game and was writing that song. And I was working on my album with him on the side. And he let me come into that session that day and co-write the song with him and sing the demo, which was then heard by Disney, who then called me when they needed some extra vocal help. And, there goes the story. But Ray Cham tragically passed away in an accident right after High School Musical came out. But that song was one of the songs that I had written with him to pitch to labels before High School Musical even came out. But it never had a bridge. That was the funny thing. That's just been sitting on my hard drive for almost 2 decades, and it just had an empty bridge. And I said, I can't just put this out like this. I want to honor him and release this music. We worked together, but it needs to be finished. So that's when I hit up Adam and I was like, just write a couple verses here, and then we'll throw it out. So I'm happy. I hope he would be proud of how it turned out. And I'm glad it's out there.
I really love that story. Yeah, it's giving me so much context for when I listen to this record because you know it's so solid. Like there are no skips.
Oh, thank you.
I listen to this and I go, this is exactly like the time I want to be transported into. And even the newer songs, like you said, like Nostalgic, they I really do feel like it would make sense if those songs were written at the same time too. But they do, but like lyrically, because I know you're a top liner, lyrically, they have that wink and nod of like we talk about nostalgia differently today than we did back then. So it has I know that you were talking about Easter eggs, like it has that kind of Easter egg built in there.
I'm so glad that translates and you're saying these things because I don't want people to think I take myself too seriously and like yeah, the wink and nod is a big part of it. It's fun, it's music that I'm proud of, but
You're reintroducing yourself. And
yeah.
I think that it's just such a smart move, and I feel like this is the perfect album to do it with. I've also had Bonnie McKee on this podcast a couple times. She had her album that was shelved that was supposed to come out like 11 years before it
Oh,
actually did. It only came out a couple years ago. And it was just, she had to re record all of the songs to get them out, but they had all been leaked online. And,
labels,
her
man.
super fans wanted them out. And then she was doing that kind of to Trojan horse her new stuff. Like she was like, I have an actual new album of all new. So it's kind of oddly a very similar career trajectory.
It's a jumping off point. It's just like a little springboard to, whet people's appetite and jog their memory and then hit them with the new stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, man, that hearing that she was sitting on stuck with that music and not able to release anything for a decade, like that must have been torture.
Yeah.
I think it was a real blessing in disguise that I never really was signed to a major label. I had some meetings and I got very close a couple of times. I was actually in a pitch meeting in New York with all the suits at a label, and it was me and Miguel, the singer Miguel,
Yeah. I've
went
seen
on
him
to
in
have an
concert.
incredible
Yeah.
career. Yeah, we traveled to New York together. We were both being pitched with our teams at the same time. We were in a little like boardroom. I sang some songs. I left and got a coffee. He sang some songs, and he got the deal and his career went how it went, and it just did not go that way for me. But the flip side of that is I've never been sort of constrained by any legal issues
Yeah,
in just going whatever direction I want to go and sharing things, and that's been a real blessing. So freedom is the most important thing, I think, as when it
totally.
comes to creative endeavors. Yeah.
And we were talking about the nostalgia industry, but it's also possible to build a whole career off of like Christmas movies. And I know you've done a handful of those, but that is its own, you
That's
know,
my side. Yeah.
industry. Exactly. It's a great
Christmas
side
is my
gig.
side piece. Yeah.
I've always been fascinated about that world though, because is it like the comfort of routine and predictability of work that's so appealing about that industry?
Yeah, I mean, you're not making any Oscar-winning material, but it's comfort food and it's got a solid, committed audience. It's kind of like, being involved in the Disney Channel stuff. It's like there are diehard fans that just like want more of that content. It makes them feel good. They just love that. And I never got super deep into that world. Like
Hmm.
I've done a number of Christmas movies, but some with Hallmark, some with Lifetime. But I like that they shoot in 3 weeks, especially with having a young family. That was
Yeah.
a necessity. I can't disappear for 6 months. That's just not life. Um, Most of the ones that I do, also I get a chance to sing or contribute music to. Christmas by the Books or My Boss's Wedding. Those ones I wrote and sang the songs that I perform in them as well. So anything that gives me a chance to use all of my talents and be creative in more than one way is extra attractive to me.
Yeah.
And I'm Canadian and most of them shoot in Canada, so it
There
seemed
you
like
go. Don't have to travel far. Yeah.
yeah, I mean I live in LA, but yeah, they have
Oh.
to hire Canadian actors, so it worked in my favor. So
Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. You were talking on a different podcast about how your daughter, she didn't think of you as a singer or she didn't know that she wasn't exposed to all this stuff that you had done.
she hasn't heard the album obviously because it's maybe not appropriate for a 6-year-old.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But no, she knows I'm a singer. She's aware of High School Musical, but she hasn't seen it yet, or Cinderella's Story. She hasn't seen anything that I've
Yeah.
done. She has a wonderful voice and a great ear, which makes me real happy.
Mm.
She'll sing in the car, and then I'll try to harmonize with her, and she'll very quickly tell me to stop. She's yeah, no, she's wonderful, and I had very supportive parents that allowed me to go down this path and explore and supported me. And I'm not definitely not going to push her into anything, but if she shows an interest and wants to pursue it, it's served me well, and she definitely has an ear for it, so I would definitely support that.
My parents had absolutely no idea about anything music related, but
Mm,
they took a chance on me because they knew I loved to sing.
good parents.
Yeah, that's why I'm where I am today. It's funny that you brought up the like how she hasn't seen High School Musical. I watched without getting too deep into it. I watched my old high school. I like went to I like to go to their shows when they do new
Oh, cool.
musicals. If
Hmm.
I'm nearby. So I happened to be in town and I was like, oh, okay, I'll go watch them, whatever they're performing. They were doing High School Musical. And as I'm watching it with like the 2006 balloons in the first scene, I go, oh my God, none of them were even born when this movie came out. And they
Oh,
were
wow.
all obsessed with it. So it is really funny that it kind of,
Never know too. Like
yeah,
I've done many things that just, came and went in a day. So, as I was recording this music, I had no clue that we'd be talking about it 20 years later. So
yeah.
it's, how many, I feel blessed that I was literally in the right place at the right time with the right people, looking out for me. And it's not lost on me how lucky I am.
Like you were saying earlier about the Christmas movies, how they utilize your singing talent as well, and how those are maybe some of your favorite roles. I found it really interesting that you did the singing voice for Taran Killam in Stuck in the Suburbs.
Sadly, that is not true.
That is not
That
true.
is,
Okay.
I did write a song called Stuck in the Suburbs that I sent to the producers that I was like, please put this in the movie, which I have on an old hard drive as well somewhere. No, I believe it was Robbie Neville, the
Robbie.
songwriter.
Oh,
Who
okay.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but I know Robbie was deep in that world at that time.
Yeah.
He wrote a lot of the High School Musical songs. No, he wrote the song on the album, "There Goes My Heart." There
Really?
goes my heart. That was Robbie Neville, Robbie and Matthew Gerard, both
Okay.
the High School Musical writers.
Oh, that's crazy.
Around the same time that I was, trying to get a deal, they threw some songs in the hat for me to pitch, and that was one of them. And I always liked
Mm.
it. And I never, I've been sitting on it. So
That's a good one too. Wait, I love
shout
that.
out Robbie.
So yeah, so maybe debunk this for me too then. Were you one of the singing voices in Pitch Perfect?
I was in like a choir for the opening intro in that, like when the Universal symbol comes
Yes.
around the front, dun, da, 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 and there's like a cappella group. I was one of the singers in that, but it wasn't a standout moment. I wasn't soloist, but I did sing a smidge in that, yes.
Same thing with Glee, right? Like with the Warblers, that's all one person, and I met him, and I was like, "This is crazy! I'm meeting the Warbler." Um,
I sang backgrounds on the Britney episode of that too, but just that one episode in Glee.
okay, wait, I was actually gonna say, I feel like there's got to be some Glee connection, so that's actually crazy that you already have one there, and that's so funny. Yeah, like a lot of your work is kind of like the behind the scenes kind of singing, like, and I love that. I love that's like such a cool lane to have, and you've done another Cinderella story that's a lot more front facing, but the behind the scenes part of that was like writing the music behind that, and being a little
Yes.
bit more involved than people would have assumed. And then you also, I want to talk about this briefly, Jersey Boys, right? You were in Jersey Boys as Bob, you were Prince Eric for The Little Mermaid. Do you have any desire to go back to Broadway?
Oh, big time. Maybe when my daughter's a little bit older.
I was gonna say, yeah, tough with a family, but
Yeah, it's not in the cards right now, but I always say Jersey Boys was my favorite role ever, including any movies, anything. I did the tour for 2 years, all around America and Canada. We went to Japan one summer, performed in Tokyo for 3 weeks, and then doing Broadway in Mermaid and Jersey Boys. Like being on stage is my favorite place to be, um, more so than in front of a camera. So I definitely want to get back to that at some point. Nothing like live theater. That's where I started. I was in all of my high school musicals when I was in high school,
yeah.
trying to be some version of what I ended up doing. So dreams do come true, kids.
Yeah, exactly. And we have one game to go out on
All right.
for this podcast. This game is called Song Interrogation. I promise it's not as scary as it sounds. Going off the track list of your new album, I'm going to use the titles as some jumping off points for some silly rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Interesting. All right. Let's do it.
So you have a song called Backup Plan. Did you ever have a backup plan if acting didn't work out?
Backup plan. Yes. I have a degree in advertising and public relations. That was my backup plan. And I minored in criminal justice. So one of those two things that are very much not acting and singing.
Very much not what you're doing now, but yes, that's funny. You have a song called Nostalgic, and as we discussed earlier, everyone in my generation is nostalgic for the work that you did back in the day, 20 years ago. But what do you personally get nostalgic for?
Oh, that's a good one. The movies that I grew up with when I was, impressionable, 12, 13, Newsies. That was the one for me, which was made it all the more mind-blowing when I got to work with Kenny Ortega, 10 years later, because I was a singing and dancing kid. Yeah, even further back, I mean, the original live action Ninja Turtles movies,
I
Super
love
Nintendo. What else? Yeah. I was a big, Soundgarden, um, Smashing Pumpkins, Stone Temple Pilots.
Wow, okay.
That was my era of music, like grunge, like rock. I was in a band in high school. We weren't very good, but played a little guitar.
Still counts.
Yeah, it was between I was like half Soundgarden, half Boys to Men. So it was a weird mixture that produced me.
You know what? I feel like I'm a very similar way. Maybe not Soundgarden and Boys to Men, but I was very much like, I'm either gonna do the pop rock thing or I'm gonna do. It wasn't necessarily boy band, but I was gonna do like the like shiny, clean pop thing.
Yeah.
And it was funny when I was in a rock band. I kept pushing them to be more pop. And then when I was like, oh, I'm going to be a solo artist. I'm going to be a pop artist. And I found that I kept pushing my music to be more rock. So I was like,
So it
clearly I
makes
cannot
you for
decide.
you. Yeah.
Yes,
Or yeah, you're the perfect melting pot of your influences. So,
exactly. You have a song called Summertime. Is summer your favorite season?
ooh, yeah, nowadays,
Can you tell in LA? Like,
yeah. I mean, the LA is wonderful. It's pretty nice all the time. I come from Canada, so
yeah.
I have a good frame of reference. Um, yeah, honestly, like I think fall is my favorite season, though.
Mm.
Summer's fun, but when the air's a little bit crisper and the leaves are changing, the back east vibe, like I think I'm when it's a little chilly, that's more what I'm into.
Yeah, I think fall is when September specifically, because I live in Boston, so September specifically is when it strikes the perfect thing where it's still hot, but you have some more shit going on, you know? Yeah,
All the fun holidays are coming up soon. Yeah, it's just yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you have actual holidays. Kids are starting school. So when I was a kid, I loved September because I loved starting school, which is weird. Okay, so you have a song called Tunnel Vision. Do you often get tunnel vision when working on a project?
Unfortunately, yes, to the detriment of my family, who's like, put your freaking phone down, come back to the table. Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know if that's I probably have ADHD or something. When I get really focused on something, I zone in.
Hyperfixate. Yeah, I do that too.
I kind of get obsessed with a thing, like, which, yeah, I mean, it's good and bad, I guess, but yes, tunnel vision is a real thing.
But thank you so much for being on the show. This was awesome. Truly, as soon as I heard the album, I was like, you have to be on the show. Like I want people to hear this, and I also like really wanted to talk to you about this and make sure that all the things I was interpreting about it, like the song Nostalgic, like the Adam Hicks Easter egg, like all of that, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just pulling stuff out of nowhere. So it's wonderful to know that it's all intentional and well thought out. And I didn't have the context necessarily because I'm not really on social media. I didn't have the context of whether these were old songs or new songs, or so I like that it was exactly kind of what I thought it was on first listen. I felt very reassured in that. So
Dude, AJ, appreciate you, man. Thank you for reaching out and giving a platform to this random new project that I'm doing.
thank you so much, Drew, for joining me. Thank you to Noah for the theme music, and thank you to Chris for editing this episode. This podcast and all of us here are in support of the fight for trans rights. You can check out links in the episode description if you're interested, but I don't want you to take it from me. I would love to hand the floor to a clip of Dylan Mulvaney responding to the White House earlier this week, because I think she put it best.
So now I have some action items for us. Are you ready? Number one, support trans and non-binary people. This is the time. I am sounding the alarm. We need you to stand up for us, vote for us, donate to our causes, hire us, and support the businesses who hire us. But most importantly, love us. That is what we need more than anything right now, publicly and proudly. Number two, if a young person is seeking acceptance, we are going to love them. And if you are a young person watching this, I need you to hold on to every piece of yourself tightly, because especially the parts that they are trying to make you feel guilty about or trying to scare you into abandoning. And I need you to find people who will help you carry those pieces into a kinder day. Okay? Okay. And number three, when they try to judge you for your support of us, take that as the greatest compliment.